안녕하세요, which is Korean for hi, hello. Um, I felt like it was fitting since I've been doing a Korea vlog, or a vlog about Korea. You guys know what I mean. Last time I uploaded one of these videos, I was in Spain, an entirely different situation. This has been like a long anticipated vlog. I wanted to do one of these so many times after one of my travels, after I went to Spain last year in June, and it's just never happened. There, mostly, I think it's I just think it's been because, you know, after I came home from most of my travels after the Spain trip, I just went straight back to work. And well, I did the same when I came back from Korea in a way, but I just went straight back to work. I didn't set off time to just like process and just like make one of these. And this time when I came back from Korea, I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And yeah, I came straight back from Korea to 3 days off. I had 2 weeks vacation when we left, so I had some days off before work, but I'm just now sitting down. Today is May 6th, not March, May 6th, and we came back on April 23rd, I think. So yeah, it's been almost 2 weeks since I came home. From one of the most like life-changing trips ever. Oh my god. I'm just sitting here in my bedroom. I have just been out with a friend today, had a blast, and I figured, why not record? We're on a good row, we're doing well. Yeah. So I went to South Korea. South Korea for approximately 2 weeks. Well, it was more like 16 days, I think we were there. We spent the first approximately 48 hours in Incheon. I'm probably gonna flunk that name, but Incheon, which is like straight from the airport. It's like 30 minutes from the airport by cab, taxi-ish. And then we went to Seoul for the rest of the stay, and then Seoul back to the airport when we were leaving. And it was a life-changing trip, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Ugh. I had so much fun. And I think that I left my soul in Seoul. Yeah. And I'm so happy I'm going back really soon. So I'm already promising another video. I'm probably gonna have more content. I left with this trip in April now. I went with one of my best friends, closest friends I have. Love her to death. We had such a blast, and the next trip I'm gonna take, which is like, it's gonna be real soon, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna have more content to like upload, so exciting times ahead of us indeed. But yeah, we had, I think, one of the best trips ever. And this is one of my closest friends. Me and her, I'm not gonna jinx it and then we have a big fight. I doubt that's gonna happen, but like, we are really close. I love her, and we never, like, we're just agreeing on things. So the trip was so smooth. We have our own flow and things. I'm a morning person. I love waking up like early. I'm an early bird. So I usually woke up early, you know, did my morning routine, got ready. Then I went out for a walk. I'm a person, I need my morning walks and my evening walks. So I'll always go for like a walk in the morning and then in the evening. And yeah, she was sleeping a little bit later. you know, got ready when I got back, and then we had breakfast, and then we went out. It was flowing so nicely. A lot of shopping, obviously. we're just girls. We were really lucky with like the weather. We had like, I think it was like raining the first day when we came there, when we were in Incheon, and then the rest of the day was just like really sunny or a little bit cloudy. We had the first few days in Seoul, we had approximately maybe like 20 degrees, 18 to 22 degrees, and it was really cold. It was like really, for me as a Norwegian, it's not that weird, if that makes sense, because usually for us, we have maybe like 18 to 20 degrees during spring and then early summer. So for me, it was nice. And then probably like maybe like 4 days into like when we were staying in Seoul, it got really hot. We got a heat wave. So there was 25 to 28 degrees. And I'm not gonna lie, guys. Yeah, I felt that heat. I'm a Norwegian. I'm used to the cold. Like, I'll deal with 10 degrees. You know, you'll see me in like a sweater and a thin jacket, and I'll be thriving. 16 degrees and it's summer for us. Like the sweater is barely on. It's just hanging over my purse. Yeah, 25 degrees and we're pushing it. But it was okay. We stayed, when we were in Seoul, we stayed in the Gangnam area. And for us, as like a first time going to Seoul, it was actually kind of nice. I think it's just, and this is in no way hate or shade to like tourist areas. But the thing is, like, for me, I'm a person that like, I can go to like tourist areas. I can go to like where there is a lot of people and I don't mind. I'm an extrovert. I love being around people. But when it comes to like staying there for like a longer period of time, and I'm not talking about a weekend trip to Paris, I'm not talking about like a long weekend trip to England, like to London. Of course, you're going to be around crowds and stuff like that. But for me, it's more about when I'm staying we were there for 16 days, like, or a little bit over 2 weeks. And for me, I think that just like staying in an area where there was a little bit more like quiet was like so nice. It was honestly so refreshing. And the area in Gangnam where we were staying, there my English flunked, Jesus. It was like there was a lot of people around, but there wasn't like packed with tourists. And again, no shame or shade or anything bad about that. Obviously, like, we went to like a lot of like sightseeing areas. We went to like a lot of the palaces that was around the area in South Korea, and we went to like Myeongdong, which is like a really shopping area. It was a really nice. My friend went to like the DMC, probably gonna flank that, by the border. My English, beg your pardon. Drinking break. Stay hydrated, everyone, okay? Remember that. Big sister tip, stay hydrated. But we went to a lot of sightseeing, and I don't mind tourists. I think it's so fun. Again, when I'm staying at like places, I just need my space. And the area was really nice, and everyone, like, I've seen a couple of people around like social media, because of course we did a little bit of research before going to Korea, just like in general, learn a couple of phrases. I'm not fluent in Korean, guys. I'm not. There has been so many times where I just said 안녕하세요 and I've said 감사합니다, and it's been that, you know, but it's been fun. But I've seen a little bit on social media, people have been saying that like, oh, they got a little bit of a cultural shock going to Korea, like, oh, people are a little bit more reserved there, a little bit more shy. And I think for me as a Norwegian, like, the thing is, guys, Norwegians, we don't sit next to each other on public transport. We aren't as mean as or cold or stuff like that as everyone is saying. We are just in our own little bubble. So So as a Norwegian going to Korea, I had like an amazing time, and my experience was that people were so friendly. Like most of the time, people were so friendly. Like I'm not gonna lie, it was so fun. I think that for me in general, like again, maybe it's just me being an extrovert and stuff like that, but yeah, no, everyone was like so, yeah, so nice. I will say though, there are a couple of things about Korea that I had read up on, that I had seen, and you know, people were telling me to be aware of, that I was still kind of shocked about. One of them being the hills. Like you'll see on, I'm gonna recommend also a couple of apps for anyone when they go to Korea and stuff like that afterwards. I'm gonna put them over here in a bit. But like one of the apps that you use for because Google doesn't work in Korea, so we use Naver Maps, which is like, honestly, it's so weird coming back to Norway because I'm so used to Naver Maps now, so like coming back and having to use Google is just like, what? But essentially on Naver Maps, they can say that there's like an average of like maybe 15-minute walk, but they don't tell you how many hills there are. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's... Let me just tell you guys, I prepped before my trip by like learning myself for a month, like the whole of March, the whole month. I just walked for about 15k steps every day, approximately, usually. I went for walks, I went uphill, I went downhill. I was kind of like prepping myself, and I still wasn't prepared. No, it's just, it is what it is. It is what it is, guys. So definitely anyone going to Korea, please, yeah, wear good shoes. You know, wear good shoes. And I think another thing that a lot of people like recommend, you know, on like social media, again, a lot of it was on TikTok, but also like other social media platforms, was that, you know, when you're using Underground, it's, again, I'm gonna link the apps up here at some point, probably by the end of the video, what I used, and then just like in general tips for Korea trip. But a lot of people were like saying about like the Underground, and then the T-Money card, and then, oh my god, the climate card and stuff like that. Sadly, I cannot recommend or deny, because we we took the Underground once and then we were like, no. I think that it was just like, in general for us, it was more beneficial to use Uber, and it wasn't that expensive. Again, as a Norwegian, for us, it wasn't that expensive to use Uber. So it was more beneficial for us because a lot of the locations we wanted to go to was like, you had to either take get off and like get like switch 3 different like trains and undergrounds, or you had to walk a whole ass like mile just to get to where you wanted to go. And let me just tell you, when we were walking around the palace, a lot of the palaces, you know, you're already walking, and we went from some of the palaces straight to like Myeongdong for shopping. You're walking around there too, so it's like we're getting the 10k steps a day either way. And for us, it was just like we were trying to avoid, you know, wasting time in between everything by just like going too much and just like tiring out by doing that. So in the end, for us, it was more beneficial to use Uber, which I think is like really nice because they were fairly quickly on time. But yeah, I definitely think that T-Money card, for those who want to do it, and that's also another life lesson. When we packed our suitcases, which is like so funny, honestly, but when we packed our suitcases, we packed, like she packed her like purse and then a suitcase, and I had a suitcase in a suitcase because I knew we were going to shop a lot, and then I had a bag that I was going to use as like the overhead bag, and then my Birkin. We wanted initially to actually use a cabin bag, but we were voting against it before we left, because we were like, oh, but we're probably going to take the underground a lot. We're probably going to take the underground back to, the airport and stuff like that. Did we do it? No, we took an Uber. No. So for next time when I'm going to Seoul, I'm definitely gonna take the cabin bag. It was so much easier and just like more convenient for me. When we went to the airport, just like have a cabin bag because it's like easier because it's wheels. Because yeah, you're gonna shop a lot, people. When you go to Korea, you're gonna shop a lot.